Mothers are the queens of the castle, but let's be real, it's not all ball gowns and glass slippers.
On this podcast, we're giving you a peek behind the throne at the privilege and responsibility of wearing the crown. My name is Helen Hope Kimbrough, and I'm a proud wife and mom of 2 adult sons.
And I'm Charlita Hatch, a proud wife, married to my high school sweetheart, and a proud mom to 2 little ones. Get ready as we share jewels with each other
and you around all things connected to motherhood. Hello. Welcome to Behind the Throne with Charlita Hatch, my girl, and me, Helen Hope Kimbrough. So delighted to be here today and just to see you again, Charlita. I missed you last time, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, you didn't miss me. You had your baby boy with you. So you were just fine.
I know. That was a fun episode. And then that just gave us a chance to just, have some cool interactions and to kind of express what was on our hearts in terms of mother and sons.
I love that.
But today, what I would love to do is literally just talk about 2023 and what a year it has been for Behind the Throne. We want to look at, different podcasts that resonated with everyone. What were some thought provoking discussions over a variety of content? And then, literally, just what resonated mostly with our audience and our listeners. So, what do you think about that?
I love it. And I think it's so good to enter into a season of reflection. And, as you start to think about, what worked, what didn't work, it really helps to set the tone for the next year. So let's go.
And speaking of that, share number 5.
All right. So coming in at number 5 is Mom Hacks. I love that episode so much because it allowed us to share in a way that you don't think about as hacks. And when we were talking, like you were sharing like tips that you were thinking of or tips that you do, and I was sharing mine. And when you're doing it, it's just what you do. And you don't realize that it's a hack for somebody else. And so I think that is just one that I for sure will go back and listen to remind myself that I don't have to do everything, that there are ways to free up my time and to make life easier. So, Mom Hacks,
Awesome.
number
Love
5.
that. Love that. Love that. Coming in at number 4, this is a mouthful. Navigating career changes and identity shifts in motherhood, plus work-life integration. So this one really resonated. And I think one of the reasons that it did is, of course, it's talking about, motherhood and work-related activities, right? And how do we navigate a lot of that? But another thing I would say is I was coming into the conversation talking about work-life balance, kind of patting myself on the back, and you were like, oh, no, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I want to talk about work-life integration. And I really think it heightened our level of conversation and really resonated with so many. So thanks so much for bringing that up, Charlita.
Absolutely. And I think, you got to do what works for you. But I just think in today's society, and we talked about this, everything's so blended. We kind of just have to honor that and take our own control of what that looks like for us.
Agreed.
Coming in at number 3 was probably our first kind of really deep social justice episode related to the affirmative action case that from the Supreme Court. And I think that really resonated. One, we wanted to talk about it, and I think it resonated with our community because we know that how relevant that is to our lives as mothers, as Black mothers, how often you have to fight on the front lines to show that you are in the space that you're in, not because of a quota, but because you're qualified and more than qualified. And affirmative action certainly opened the doors. And somehow along the way, it's got this narrative of that it's a quota checking box. And
Yes.
we will still continue to watch in 2024 how this manifests in corporate America and other sectors, because we know that if it's this way with the Supreme Court, that it's likely about to transcend to other industries. And we have to think about us as Black mothers, our children, and the impacts of those things. So
I
take a
agree.
listen if you haven't.
Yeah, definitely so. And I also think in 2024, we'll be covering a lot of DEI topics, so a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion topics. So, coming in at number two, the challenges, joys, and misconceptions of fatherhood, featuring Marcus Kimbrough and Mark Hatch. This is the first episode
Our baby daddies.
that we invited our husbands. Yes. To the conversation. Both of us are daddy's girls, but it was also just a nice opportunity for us to invite our husbands, who are also fathers, who could literally give us the real on how they experience fatherhood and how our kids also, want to uplift them as well. And so, thankfully, that resonated as number two. Love you guys. Thanks so much for joining our show and being our first guest.
Yep, our first guest, our biggest supporters, and I love that we were also able to honor them and give them their flowers because I don't know about you, Helen, but I can be a little hard on Mark. But he's an amazing dad, and I am glad that we got to share that with our community.
I know, I know. When I told the boys that this was number two, both of them were like, yes, yes.
Yes, of course, they're like, "Daddy, daddy." But as always, coming in at number 1 was our motherhood episode where we kicked off honoring the mothers before us, the mothers that we are and the mothers that we wanna be, and I love, love, love that that was our number 1 episode because we know we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be the moms that we are, the women that we are, if it wasn't for standing on the shoulders of our mothers and our grandmothers, our sisters. Love giving flowers to Tracy, but it was a great way to set the tone for everything that we want to do on this podcast.
Agreed, wholeheartedly. And just that generational aspect of motherhood and the lineage that we have that, deepens us, but also secures us and sustains us is so important. So, a community of moms, love it.
Yes. So if you have not checked out at least these top 5 episodes, you should definitely go back and listen. As we wrap up season 2, I would love, Helen, for you to share kind of beyond our podcast, but kind of what are some of your reflections from 2023?
Well, what I would like to say is one of the biggest things that resonates with me is I challenged myself to do more public speaking. And that just turned into a myriad of things for me. As a writer, I feel like you're more insular and your thoughts kind of take over you and just it's the pen and putting the thoughts to the page. That's something that's my comfort zone. I love that. But then actually, just coming out and speaking was, stepping out of my comfort zone in a number of ways. And with that said, this podcast is one of those things. But then when I look at, you and me coming together to do this podcast, I mean, my heart is just dancing. It's just so joyful because literally, yeah, you could do things by yourself, but it's so much better when you do it with someone else. And I'm so grateful that you joined this journey with me to do this podcast. So that's my overarching one. But the other thing is, I looked at just opportunities of where I spoke, and some of them I'm like, wow, you did a lot of speaking engagements. And so you and I even tag team to do some of those, with Black Child Development Family Institute. That was another one that was dynamic. And I just feel like it's going to be more of that in 2024, just for us to express ourselves and just to be honest and truthful and genuine and intentional around just what we're doing collectively, but also what we're doing individually. So that would be my overarching one.
I love
What
that.
about you?
And I think about, I always go back to when we first really connected. And, we never would have thought we'd be here. Our relationship moved beyond publisher, author to truly a sisterhood. And so thank you for that.
Thank
Um,
you.
for 2023, for me, I think I look back a little bit further and I just feel that, for 6 years, I've been pregnant, nursing. trying to get back from postpartum, did it again in the pandemic. And I know that this phase of my life is like, I know I'm not birthing any more babies. I know I'm not nursing any more babies. It was like reclaiming my time type of year. And I just can't believe some of the things that I did for myself in a way that I would never have done, in this kind of last, call it 5 to 6 years, from being able to go see Beyonce in Paris and go to Usher. I mean, we took a massive spring break trip where, we visited, 6 or 7 states. We took a family trip. It was just awesome to be able to like break away from work, break away from like all of the things and do things with my family, but also do things with my girlfriends, and how much that replenished me, and how much I needed that, and
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
realize that I have always done a little, but I hadn't poured into myself the way that I did this year. And so I want to hold that
Mhm.
and remember that.
It's the importance of self-care, it's the importance of literally prioritizing yourself, and so many moms don't do that, and so it was good to see you living out loud in 2023. Every time I turned around, I'm like, "Girl, where are you now? Go
We
ahead, get it."
outside. We outside. Uh, so so okay, with that, so
Mhm.
for 2024, I
Yes.
think through all of the things that I just said that I love that I did, I do feel like I did too much. I do feel like I overcommitted myself in a number of different ways. And one of my good friends recommended a book to me called The Power of a Positive No. I haven't read
Mhm.
it, but I'm going to read it over this break. And I want to understand more, especially as I move into 40 next year, what it looks like to say no to others, but yes to myself. And so I don't know what
Yes.
that book entails, but I'm going to read it and we can talk about it, after I read it. But I want to move more into saying no, but no in a positive way, so that it's not burning me out. And like I said, particularly as I move into 40, I think it's gonna be important.
Oh, good. No, that will be, and I'm looking forward just to, hearing more just about that book, and maybe you can share the book and we can just talk about it as a discussion, for one of our episodes in 2024.
I love
That
that.
may be a good one. Yep, definitely so. I think for me, one of the things that I'm really prioritizing this year is professional development. I feel sometimes that I'm giving things from an empty cup. And so I want to go to more conferences. I want to go to more workshops. Definitely, we'll do personal travel, but I also want to do just some travel in that pertains to work because I feel like it just makes you better. And when they say iron sharpens iron, it really does. And so that's what I'm literally looking for professionally in 2024. I know, 2023 lent itself to me speaking more, but this year I definitely want to get back to my writing. I, of course, have some publishing projects on deck for 2024, but literally, I'm just going to find some time to unwind and just to write, some things that I genuinely want to write about. Some of it may be in a children's book form, but some of it may not be. And that's the journey and excursion that I'm willing to take. And also just to, kind of go internal on. So looking forward to that. My son will be graduating this year in 2024. So this is another milestone moment. Y'all just get ready for the tears, get ready for get ready for the ugly cry. Just get ready because I just know it's going to be that again. Because as you were saying, you're at the early part and you see your journey kind of changing and twisting there. This is going to be another iteration for Marcus and I to kind of share and move beyond. Yes, we're empty nesters, but what does this mean literally having adult children where both will be working? And how do we, set them up for success? And so those are some things that, I'm looking forward to doing in addition to traveling a little bit more this year.
I love that. I love that. And, I love, you are a writer at heart. And so I love that you're sharing your intentionality about putting kind of the pen to the paper because when you write, you not only heal yourself, but you also heal other people. And I think
Yes.
it's a gift you have and a blessing that we all need. So I'm looking forward to reading.
Thank you, Charlene. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So with that, I hope that you all have enjoyed season two, reflecting on with us on our top 5 episodes from both seasons. Would love for you all to catch up if you haven't. Would love to hear feedback of what you would like to hear from us as we move into season three. And definitely reflect on your 2023 and start to think about what you want to manifest for 2024. And let's figure out how we can do it together. And so, with that,
Let's make it happen.
let's make it happen. And so, with that, be sure to like, comment, follow, or subscribe anywhere you listen to this podcast for Behind the Throne. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to the Behind the Throne podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and comment below with your feedback. Check out future episodes from us as we discuss motherhood from babies to adults.